Hey dolls, hey gents, are you scratching your head saying, I can never come up with enough content to post on social media or just my content marketing in general? I have some tips for you today. I'm going to share with you and tell you how to take one piece of content and turn it into 12 pieces of content. Yes, you heard me right. I'm going to take one piece of content and show you how to turn it into 12. And we're going to get right into it right after this quick intro. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to all those that are coming on in. Shout out and let me know you are here. Let me acknowledge some people already. Hey, Shanita, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for popping in. So I know that all of the streaming platforms, Periscope, give me some hearts, YouTube, all of the places all across the web and Facebook, and in particular, hanging out in my Facebook group, Hey Girl, Hey, Coaching with Vet is where we hang out there. I'm going to be talking about taking one piece of content and turning it into 12. So all week long, I have been sharing tips within the Facebook group. So listen, if you're hanging out in the Facebook group, just type Hey Girl Hey. Just type Hey Girl Hey so I can acknowledge you. Hello, Lavette. Thank you for being here. Hey, y'all. Thank you. Hey Girl Hey. Happy Friday to you. If you are hanging out with me in my Facebook group, Coaching with Vet, or you are a female entrepreneur, or you're striving to be one, you should come hang out with us again in Facebook, Coaching with Vet. And we've been talking about content marketing. And in particular, this week, we have been talking about how do you repurpose content. A lot of entrepreneurs, small business owners, thought leaders. Yes, I see you coming in from all across the web, are always a lot of times kind of struggling with, I've got to keep creating content. But I beg to differ with you. I'm going to give you a strategy today that will help you kind of take and stretch the content that you're using. And we are going to be talking about turning one piece of content into 12. Yes, I'm going to walk you through it. One piece of content into 12. Hey, Deborah, thanks for joining. Hello, Cicely, thanks for joining. She's jumped into our product and course academy. And I'm so excited to have her a part of that. So you guys, let's jump into it. You know, it's Friday. I don't know. You all might have a virtual date. You might have, I don't know. I'm going to get out your way. I'm going to give you some content and I'm going to get out of the way. All right. So here's how you start. Here's the starting place. When we talk about taking one piece of content and turning it into 12. The first thing that you got to start with is a little bit of content. Now you got to do a little bit of work. Okay. You got to do a little bit of work. And so what I want you to start with, very simply, just 3 tips. I want you to come up with, and you probably already have this somewhere in your arsenal, 3 tips related to your industry, your business, your product, your nonprofit, your ministry. I want you to come up with 3 tips. That's the starting point for our content and for this project that we're going to do, this strategy, turning one piece of content into 12. So you've got to start with 3 tips. All right. But let me formally introduce myself because I know and I see that a bunch of people are coming in. Hey, Tammy, thank you so much for joining over in the Facebook group. And those that are on Periscope and YouTube, hey, I'm Sharvette Mitchell, and I work with female entrepreneurs and a few lucky men to help them build their online platforms so that they generate more revenue with an amazing online brand. And I do that in a couple of ways, with dealing with your personal brand, your visibility, and your marketing, with one-on-one and group coaching programs, and also offer web design services. And some of you might be here because of the Sharvette Mitchell radio show. All right, so that's a little bit about me. Let's jump in. If you're taking notes, here's the time to start taking notes. Okay, so your starting point is 3 pieces of content. All right, your starting point is 3 pieces of content. Okay, so let's get down to number 1. I'm going to go through 6 things, but we're going to end up with 12 pieces of content. Okay, with your 3 tips, with your 3 points, all right, the first thing that you want to do, you can share those 3 tips as a post, as a text post. All right. That is the first tip for you, first strategy of getting to your 12 pieces of content. Take those three tips and share it as a text post. All right, so that's number one. Let's move on to number two. Welcome to all those that are coming on in all across the World Wide Web. We're talking about how do you turn one piece of content into 12 pieces of content. And this has to do with your content marketing. Listen, and your content marketing has to do with social media. You can think about email marketing, blogging, video, anywhere where you share your voice that represents your brand and tells your brand story. Okay, so number two, you remember we started with 3 tips. Now your next strategy, take each one of the tips and share them individually as a text post. All right. So you started out with you got 3 tips, and it could be something like, tip 1 of 3, and then you share that tip. The text post, this can be done on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Great options for this. Take your 3 tips. So then that means you have 3 individual posts. If you're following me, just put, girl, yes, I got it in the comments. All right. Let me know in the comments. Say, I got it. I'm following you. All right. So that's strategy number 2. Now, at this point, we have 4 pieces of content already. We have 4 pieces of content already because we're going from 1 piece of content to 12. 1 piece of content to 12. All right. So you got it. So that was tip number 2. Now let's keep the ball moving. As we talk about you thinking strategically about your content marketing, working strategically. All right. Thank you, Tammy. She said, I got it. I see the I got it's coming in. Hey, Lena, thank you so much for popping in. All right. Lavette said, I got it. Hey, cuz. I got it, Cassandra. Thank you so much. You got it. All right. You're following. Okay. So now here is the next strategy as we go from 1 piece of content to 12 pieces of content, minimum. You're going to take each one of your tips. I see you, Gwen. She says, I got it. You're going to take each one of the tips and you're going to put all of the tips on one graphic. All right. So the 3 tips you have, you're going to put them all on one graphic or image. Some people say image, some people say graphic, whatever is your druthers. All right, so that's going to work great because Instagram needs images. And then certainly Facebook and LinkedIn and all of the other places, images do really well in the news feeds and in the timelines. So you will take the 3 tips you have. Now, some of you might say, you know what, my tips are kind of extensive, so they may or may not fit on one graphic. Okay, so here's what you do with that. You just put the highlight or the headliner for that particular tip. So you put the 3 kind of headliners for your tips, and then you can expound upon them within the actual post. All right. You can expound upon them within the actual post. Hey, Bridget, thanks so much for popping in. Welcome to all those that are coming in. I'm Sharvette Mitchell. I work with female entrepreneurs and a few lucky men to help them build their online platforms, personal brands, so that they generate more revenue. And a lot of time customers sometimes think about how can I do more and be more efficient with my content marketing. And so that's why we're having this conversation about turning 1 piece of content into 12 pieces. All right. So let's get back to it. So now, look at our numbers. All right. So number 1, we said post all 3 tips. That was 1 piece of content. Then we said post each of the individual tips as a text. So that's a total of 3 posts. So now we're up to 4. Now this tip is saying put all of the tips on a graphic, on one graphic. Put all 3 tips on one graphic. Now we're up to 5 pieces of content with this one strategy. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do, ladies and the gentlemen that are watching as well, all across the World Wide Web, you're going to take each of the tips and put them on their own graphic. One by one. Tip 1 gets a graphic. Tip 2 gets a graphic. Tip 3 gets a graphic. So you're going to end up with 3 different graphics. Okay, great for Instagram because you got to share graphics, right? But also on your Facebook and everywhere else on social media. So now look at the numbers. We are up to 8 different things. Hey, Essie, thanks so much for checking in and saying hello. We are up to 8 different posts. Again, we started with Just 3 tips. That was the original piece of content. All right. So now we are up to 8. Now, some of you might be saying, well, how am I going to create the graphics? How am I going to create this? Well, there are tons of tools out there. I love canva.com. Those of you that are watching, if there are any other tools that you love, type those in the comments wherever you're watching or listening from. If you're on Twitter, at Sharvette, if you're on Periscope, at Sharvette, YouTube, and of course, Facebook. Let us know what you use to create simple graphics. But here's the thing, you can also outsource this. So don't get caught up. Don't spend like 59 hours trying to do this if this is not where your zone of genius is. All right. You want to take that time and you can delegate this out. All right. So y'all, I see y'all are with me. I see your wheels are turning. And again, type in the comments if you use canva.com or if there's some other, maybe an app on your phone or something else that you like to use to create simple graphics. Let us know, because definitely I want to share that. Okay. Hey, Shakita said, I am learning Canva. Listen, Canva is big. Canva has a lot of opportunities. Canva.com, for those who are brand spanking new and are like, I never even heard of that before. It is a site that allows you to do graphics, and it's actually based off of and built from graphic designers. All right. Yes. And Gwen is saying, Gwen hanging out over in my Facebook group is like, I'm delegating that. I'm delegating Canva. Awesome. All right. Wonderful. And I've been sending this type of work to my VA. This is perfect. So this strategy that I'm giving you and discussing is perfect to transition to another support resource. But here's where, you start. Your expertise is at the first step of coming up with the tips. And then all of the rest of this, you can delegate. I love it. All right. So let's keep moving. We've got, we're up to 8. Let's go on. We're up to 8. And this is quick. Like, I'm going to be done and shortly I'm going to be done. Okay. Now we're up to 8. Now, here's the next thing that you can do with those same 3 tips based off of your expertise, your industry, whatever, your product, even those 3 tips. Now you can do an Instagram story or a Facebook story per tip. So you're going to end up with 3 different stories. Now, what I would recommend is you do one story one day, one story the next day, and then one story the following day. So that way you have content over 3 different days. Now, if you want to do it all together, then that's just going to reduce your numbers. But I would encourage you to think about 1 tip per Instagram story. And that'll give you time also to elaborate and to talk a little bit more, and also give some call to actions as well. Did you know? Listen, let me let you in. Getting close. Did you know that Instagram stories and Facebook stories, those are the places where you can see who is consuming your content. You can see who's consuming your content. And that's good information to know. If you're just popping on in, we are talking about how do you take 1 tip and 1 piece of content and turn it into 12 different pieces of content. That's what we're talking about. And we are up to 11. We are up to 11 already with this last strategy. And this started, let me tell you, this conversation started because in my Facebook group, we've been hanging out talking about repurposing content all week long. So I wanted to jump in and share with you guys by way of live streaming, one of the strategies that I wanted to make sure my Facebook group had. And you know what? I just let you guys like listen in. So if you aren't in my Facebook group, it's very simple. And this is for female entrepreneurs or females who want to be. Join us over. It's Coaching with Vet if you're already hanging out on Facebook. So hello to those on my business page, my personal page. And if you're already in the group, it's Coaching with Vet. That is the place that you go to join the Facebook group so you can hang out with us. Or if you are watching anywhere else in the world, anywhere else on live stream, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, very simply just go to your web browser, like you're typing in a website, and just put in heygirlhey.today, not .com, not .org, .today, and that'll take you and bring you right into my group. All right, there you go. So I'm sneaking and letting y'all in on the conversation. Awesome. Hello, Miss McNary, hanging out with us over on YouTube. Thank you so much. And so Erica Lynn, shout out to Erica Lynn, who is a social media manager. She is testifying, saying, yes, I use IG stories, Instagram stories all of the time. Hello, Tanya Sloans. Thank you so much for popping in. And hello from Wakanda, comedian Wendy Lee. Welcome. All right, so let's get back into it again. If you're just joining us, we're having this conversation about content marketing. And you want to think about your content. Your content marketing is whatever you're sharing. Social media. Now we're focusing on social media, but really it encompasses email marketing, blogging, your videos, all of that. Wherever you're sharing your voice and the brand story about your brand. All right. So we're helping you here by saying, okay, you don't have to do a bunch of work, but you can be strategic. So the first thing you got to start with is 3 tips. All right. That's where we started. Then I'm going to recap real quick. Then we said, share all of the 3 tips as one text post. That's going to give you 1 post. Then I said, share each tip individually, one by one as a text post. So that's a total of 3 posts. So now we're up to 4. You're seeing we were getting up to the 12. Then you want to take the 3 tips and put it on 1 graphic. So 1 graphic would have the 3 tips, or you can do a summary of the tips and explain in the post the actual tips. All right. So then now we're up to 5 graphics, up to 5 pieces of content. Then you want to take each tip and one by one turn it into its own graphic. All right. So that's a total of 3 graphics. Now we're up to 8 pieces of content. Then you want to take those three tips. Are you seeing a trend? Are you seeing the trend? You want to take those 3 tips and you can do a Instagram story or Facebook story. Oh, by the way, I hope you do know you can do the story once and share it on both platforms. Yeah. You want to take and do 1 Instagram story / Facebook story per tip. And I would recommend you do like 1 a day. So you could do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now you've got 3 pieces of content in your Instagram stories, and you can see who's consuming the content, and you can even invite people to DM you or some other type of call to action. All right, so now we are up to 11 pieces of content. Now we're up to 11 pieces of content. Yes, Tanya said this is good. Thank you so much. You are welcome, Shakita. Much appreciated. You are welcome, Miss Burnett. Much appreciated. All right. We are up to 11 pieces of content based off of 3 tips that you started with. 3 tips that you started with. Now, I know that there are people on your timelines or in Facebook groups that you manage that need this content. So I'm going to invite you to share this video out right now. This is golden. I'm going to say it myself. This is golden right here. So go ahead and share this out to your personal pages or your business pages or your business groups, in particular, if you know your audience needs this type of content. And again, we are talking about how to turn 1 piece of content into 12 pieces of content minimum. Now, somebody tell me in the chat how you could increase the number. We're on number 11. I'm going to give you the last one, and I'm going to get out your hair because I don't know. You might have a virtual date tonight. You might have some other things to do on this Friday night, but I just wanted to drop some content marketing and repurposing strategies before you get into your weekend. But somebody tell me in the chat, this is not a trick question. How could you increase this number? So we're on 11. How could you increase this number? Okay, tell me that in the chat. Let me see. Thank you so much, Lena. You are welcome. Thank you, Erica Lynn, for sharing. I appreciate it. All right, cool. So the final tip. Now I already know, because I know y'all's. I know some of y'all's. I already know. Some people about to feel like this is a sting. The last tip is to take the 3 tips that you have created, that we've done all of this other content creation on, and do a Facebook Live. That would be optimal. Or if you don't want to do a Facebook Live, just sit down and record a video. You can record it on your phone. If you want, you can record it on your computer, however you record it. You can record it on your phone or record it on your computer and discuss the 3 tips. That is, whoops, did I post the right one? Oh, wait a minute. We got one more. Let me scroll down. Here it is. Okay, cool. I had the old tip still up. Okay, take the 3 tips that from your expertise and from your knowledge and your experience and record or do a Facebook Live. My preference would be a Facebook Live, but if not, at least record a video talking about the 3 tips. That is going to be your 12th piece of content. That's going to be your 12th piece of content that you all started with. All right. If you just popped in, hey, I just shared how you can take one piece of content. And we started with, and that one piece of content is simply 3 tips based on your industry, your business, your product, your service. Take 3 tips, and we turned it into 12 pieces of content. Now, there's a question on the floor that I asked. Now, how could we get past the 12? So I see some comments coming in. Thank you so much for sharing, Tanya. I see some comments coming in. All right. So Lavette said create a video or live chat. So that definitely ties right into our last tip. But Lavette, we could even go further. So the last tip said to create 1 video for the 3 tips, and that's going to get you to 12. But what if you did a Facebook Live for each of the tips? So now somebody do the math for me on that. If we ended with 12, but now we're going to add 2 more videos because you're going to do 1 video per tip. Somebody put the math in the comments for me and tell me now, where are we with our content? All right. Great. So I'm seeing a comment from Van. Yes. Listen, my podcast sister, ask your audience which tip was most helpful. I love that. So once you've done all of these, then that's another type of post, is to ask a question based off of the content that you shared. Thank you so much. All right, cool. All right, so I'm seeing some other things coming in. You can do a Facebook Live discussing the 3 tips or a video. That is brilliant. That's maximizing your content. Absolutely. All right, listen, y'all got the math right. Listen, we got to talk about the money. We got to keep the money. We got to keep the math going because we got to talk, because this is all going to add up to money for you. All right, 14, that's right. So if you broke up that last tip, that last video, and did 3 different videos, now you are at 14 pieces of content, based off of starting at 1 piece. Thank you. That's my pastor here, Bishop Joel Brown. He's paying attention and he got the answer right. 14 pieces of content. All right. So I know some people just popped in, and here's what we're talking about: turning 1 piece of content into 12 pieces of content. And who is this for? This is for business owners, small business owners, leaders who feel like I feel like I'm spending a lot of time trying to figure out what to post on social media, trying to figure out where, what am I saying, when you can start with just a few pieces of your expertise and make it run. So if you just popped in and you're like, Sharvette, can you do a recap? Just type recap. If I see at least 1 recap, I will recap. If not, I will let you go because it's Friday and y'all ready to get into the weekend. Let me post up this comment here from Ms. Jones. You can post a call to action about how your business supports clients with the tip. Okay, so now if we add her tip, and then we have my podcast sister's tip. So now you could be up to 16 pieces of content that all started from that initial 3 tips. Okay. So I love that. I love that idea there. I don't see any recaps. Okay. So I think I see 1 recap coming in. All right. I see 1 recap coming in really quick. For those that just popped in, I'm going to recap. All right. Start with 3 tips. And then number 1, you're going to share all of the 3 tips as a text post. So that's going to give you 1 post. Then you're going to share all of the tips 1 by 1 as a text post. So that's a total of 3 posts. So now you're up to 4. Yes, thank you. I see the recaps coming in. Then you're going to put the tips, all of the 3 tips on 1 graphic. So then you have a graphic to share, which works great with Instagram because that's all you can share over there. Now you're up to 5. You're going to then take each tip and put it on its individual graphic. So you will end up with 3 graphics. Each graphic has its own tip. Now we're up to 8. Thank you, Carla R. Jenkins, for sharing this on Twitter. Now we take the tips. Each tip will get its own Facebook story or Instagram story. So you jump on Instagram story, and guess what? I'll let you off the hook. Even if you don't want to do a video in Instagram story, you can do a tip and type in the text and maybe put some little squiggly lines and some emojis and all that kind of stuff. However you want to do your Facebook story or Instagram story. Share the tip, each tip individually, as an Instagram story. And I would do it on a different day. So that way you kind of stretch your content. All right. Now we're up to 11. Now the last one, I love it, is to either do a Facebook Live discussing all 3 tips, or you can just record a video. So if Facebook Live is daunting and you're itching and you're scratching and you're like, I can't do it. Okay, that's fine. Calm down, breathe. Let's breathe. Whew, let's just breathe. Okay, so you can just record the video with your phone and post it. But those of you that are overachievers, you might even want to go another step further and say, I'm going to do a video per each of the tips. And so that's how you are expanding all of your content. Okay. So question has come in from Tanya. How many of the 14 pieces of content are you posting each day? That is a perfect question. Okay, how much are you posting every day? I would look at 1 a day. Now you might mingle in some motivational posts or some selfie or what have you, but I would look at doing 1 a day. And then, or even at the most, let's just say if you have 14, if you do 2 a day, that is a whole week's worth of content. That's a whole entire week's worth of content. So you could do 2 a day, Tanya, if you got to the 14, and then that way you have a whole week's worth of content. But you could do 1 a day, and then that's going to stretch out for almost 2 weeks. Now, if you have 11 pieces, you're a week and a half. All right. So let me know if you have more questions. That was excellent. I love it. Yes, that's that. Okay. Yep. Annette, I saw you. I did the recap just for you. All right. So I am wrapping up. Let me pop this up here. If you just tuned in and you're like, I missed it. No problem. This is a replay that's going to stay up. We turned 1 piece of content into 12. We even talked about how you can even go further with that. And again, the point of this is around your content marketing. Now, this is focused on social media, but your content marketing also includes email, video, strategy, all of that, anywhere your voice is being shared. So if you're saying, wow, I need to think broader about my content marketing, I'm doing a lot of work, it needs to be more cohesive, I invite you to a complimentary consultation, so we can discuss that. Call Sharvette.com. It's right on the screen, right above my head. Call Sharvette.com is a complimentary consultation that I can invite you to, so we can talk about your content marketing strategy individually. All right, some individual strategy. Listen, thank you, Carla R. Jenkins, hanging out over on Periscope. She said this is great for August content marketing planning. Absolutely. You've got a few more days here in July, but if you just take a little bit of time and just even so here's the thing. If you have 3 tips, but then what if you came up with 3 more tips for something else? And then what if you came up with 3 more tips for something else? So maybe you then have 3 different sets of tips. That's a whole month's worth of content. That's a whole entire month's worth of content. All right, let me see. Did I miss? Oh, let me see here. What did I miss? Okay. What's the difference between doing a live video on IG versus IGTV? Is there a difference? Yes. So a live video for IG is live. It's just like we're doing right now. It's completely live. IGTV is pre-recorded video, pre-recorded content. So you can take the copy of the live video and stick it over into IGTV, but IGTV is pre-recorded video. All right. Pre-recorded video. Thank you. And then Erica, just pop that in for us. All right. Awesome. I love it. Okay. Listen, Miss Harmon, you can catch the replay. Because I'm about to get out y'all's hair. You can catch the replay where we talked about turning 1 piece of content into 12. And again, these conversations started over in my Facebook group. So if you're not there and you are a female entrepreneur or you want to be, these are the types of conversations we're having. Listen, I really did this for my girls. Hey, girl, hey. Those that are in my Facebook group, just type hey girl hey in the comments. I really did this for the Coaching with Vet community because this is what we've been kind of talking about all week. But I let y'all in. I said, let me just share the wealth. And my email list, welcome to those that are going to be coming in because you're going to get an email saying, come look at this video. Welcome to my email list too. That's going to check this out. All right. That's it. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you, for all of the love and all of the hugs all across the World Wide Web. We appreciate you. I am Sharvette Mitchell, and I work with female entrepreneurs and a few lucky men to help them build their online platforms and generate more revenue with an amazing online brand. And I'll see you guys later on the web.